All right, guys, let's just give people a couple seconds to kind of get on.
New house is amazing.
Except there's this.
Let's give it about 30 seconds here real quick. All right, we'll go ahead and start. Y'all ready?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, man. Right on, right on. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Speaking Out Loud. It's your boy Renee, along with me, John Borba. What up, JB?
Going on?
Yeah, we got two special guests. We got E-Rob, Earl Robinson, back at it again with us. What's up, E-Rob?
What's up, Renee? What's up, Borba?
And Antonio is currently on hold. He'll join the show here in just a bit. So, yo, guys, how you guys doing?
Doing well.
Good. Good as you can.
Right on, man. Well, let's just jump right into it. What's up?
Apparently, I can't connect my headphones, so.
All right. Well, Antonio, welcome to the show, man. Appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, guys. Well, let's jump right to it, man. So, everybody watched the draft. Probably one of the most televised events right now, given the circumstances. Solid wide receiver, deep in wide receivers. Some quarterback chatter. So Earl, we'll start with you. Who's your draft winner for this year?
You know, I was going to go with the Ravens. I think they had a solid draft, but I really like what the Chargers did. I think trading back into the first round to get Kenneth Murray solidifies their defense. They're going to have a very good defense next year. And then, you know, they picked Hibbert, who wasn't my favorite quarterback, but, you know, if he pans out, then they got two solid starters in the first round that could really change their franchise.
Yeah, the Ravens definitely had a solid look there in the draft. They just keep getting deeper, man. I think the only thing holding back the Ravens is Lamar Jackson having to throw the ball more consistently. JB, what do you think?
I'm going to be a little biased. I think Vikings had probably their best draft that they've had in 20 years. Usually I'm ripping them this time of year, but I mean they took care of their needs. They needed a wide receiver. They got a really good one that fell to them. I think fell to them, and it kind of was a steal. And then to get a left tackle in Ezra Cleveland that's athletic, fast. I mean that's what we have on the right side with Brian O'Neill, and that's what we got to work on. We got it. So we attacked. We picked linemen and we picked corners. That's what we need, and we got a lot of depth, and they're all physical. You know, bump you on the line of scrimmage, long, athletic. You know, Cameron Dantzler, he's like 6'2", long guy, kind of like Xavier Rhodes. So I'm hyped about their draft. They had a pretty good draft this year in a long time. It's their first good draft in a long time, I think. We're going to have a lot of starters.
Right on. Antonio, how do you feel about your draft winner over there?
Well, I think the draft winner was Baltimore. The reason I say that is because they pretty much touched on every position available. They drafted a running back. They had a linebacker come in, and it really just kind of cements their stance, I think. I think they'll make another deep playoff run just with having Lamar Jackson as well as your quarterback. But really, the Ravens didn't lose. They drafted some great key players, in my opinion.
Yeah, they definitely got better. Man, damn, the Ravens really are going to make some noise, man. They really got stuck in a really bad situation. Derrick Henry probably had the best run any running back has ever had. But damn, it seems like the dual-headed monster at running back is the new trend. Would you guys agree with me on that?
I agree, because look at what San Francisco did. They play smash mouth football. That's what San Francisco's about.
Yeah.
That's what they do. I think that's what a lot of teams are going to look at with people who are lacking at the quarterback position.
For
Yeah.
sure. I think J.K.
Go ahead.
Dobbins in the second round was a steal. He was probably my favorite running back this year, just because he has, Jonathan Taylor's a stud, but Dobbins can just catch the football better than Taylor can, and so I think him going to the Ravens, like, he's going to step in for Mark Ingram when Ingram falls off a little bit. He's 30, going on 31 this year, so that was just a solid pickup for them.
Yeah, I thought Ravens
definitely.
did a really good job draft.
Yep.
My draft winner, I'm gonna have to say, I'm gonna have to stick with San Francisco. I like the route they took. They surprised me when they passed up. I thought they were gonna take a wide receiver in the first, or for their first pick and a 13th pick. I like their strategic move. Shanahan seems to be a badass, and GM isn't too bad either. So I like what San Francisco has. I still think, like I said last year, I'm not sold on Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't give a shit if they made it to the Super Bowl. The reason they lost that game also has to do with Jimmy Garoppolo not as accurate as everybody makes him out to be. So I still think the question marks around him. I think they got better, but it's ultimately going to come down to Jimmy Garoppolo as to whether or not they make that run again. And win the Super Bowl. I don't see them going to the Super Bowl, but I also said that last year, so we'll see. We'll see a little later on in the offseason with more moves going on still. But JB, you might have earned the first mute on the show since you went with the Vikings right away.
Hey, look at their grades. Look at their grades all over NFL.com. They're definitely top 3, and so are Cowboys. So. You didn't talk about your team. I'm surprised you didn't talk about your team, but they had a really good draft too. Okay, I'll say this. Besides my team, I really like not only the Cardinals offseason, but I do like their draft. Getting Isaiah Simmons, I think he was the best defense. I mean, him and Chase Young, I think were the best defensive players in the draft. I mean, Isaiah Simmons can play anywhere. He's a stud. Like that's a really good pickup for him, and they're just going to get young, athletic, fast. I mean, Cardinals are on the come up too, so I wouldn't sleep on them.
Oh yeah, and I was shitting on Kyler Murray early last year.
Yeah,
I just thought I just didn't think his size was gonna. You can only have so many small quarterbacks that are great, but I mean, it seems like he's definitely got the tools, along with Hopkins going over there, for them to have a solid offense. So we'll definitely see that. But all right, man. Well, let's move on to the next topic here. Off-season winners.
Renee, before we move on, I want to ask you. You said you thought the 49ers had a really good draft, right, and got much better. So they drafted the defensive tackle from South Carolina to replace Buckner in the first round, right? And then they got a Joyku from Arizona State in the end of the first round to replace Emmanuel Sanders. So do you actually think they got better? Like, I like both of those picks, but I don't know that either are going to outplay the players that they replaced them. And so I'm not sure that they got better, per se, this year.
The way I see it, because ultimately they just replaced parts. I don't think they got any worse.
Agreed.
I think they're pretty much going to stay where they're at. But I do think that at wide receiver, he does have potential to be better than Emmanuel Sanders. As far as it being right away, that's a good question mark there. But as of right, granted, I just think they had the best first round. I guess that's really what I would say is their first round to me was the best. As far as in depth, I would go with Dallas. But I'm being biased there too. Yeah, I got the second mute of the day.
Yeah, no, I agree. They had a good draft, but I mean, anytime you have
I think the draft was
picks, you're gonna look like. I mean, you got 2 sexy picks. That's who all the mock drafts have. First round, you're always gonna think somebody with 2 first rounders had one of the.
Well, actually, I really don't think they got the. Excuse me, because the Niners pick wasn't that sexy though, considering. I mean, they passed up on all 3 wide receivers that were the top 3, right?
Yep.
I mean, me and you watching the draft, we were shocked. We thought CeeDee Lamb was coming off the table or Ruggs. So I like the move they made, not going into the hype. But I don't think they got worse.
Agreed. And I don't think they had to get better to still be a contender in the NFC. But I think that other NFC teams got better. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, definitely.
You also forget they picked up Trent Williams. I mean, which replaces Joe Staley immediately.
Yeah, but Joe Staley was solid.
Yeah, but Trent Williams is just as solid.
Well, right.
So you feel
that's another
guy retires, and the next day you get another Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and I think that's a solid replacement. But once again, I don't think they got better. Like, I think Joe Staley was as good as Trent Williams.
Right.
Yeah, you're saying they basically washed out.
That's a solid replacement when a guy retires. And to get him for what they did, like a 5th rounder and like a 3rd next year, that was a good trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's move on to this next topic while we're already talking about it. Our off-season winners. Off-season winners is presented by 79045 Clothing. Shout out Izo Sanchez. Check him out on Facebook, 79045 Clothing, or also on Instagram. Go check him out, man. He's got all the merch for you. He's about to launch his line, hometown merch in Perfect, Texas. So go check out the guy, man. Show some love. Well, Borb, I'll start with you this time. Our off-season winners. What do you think by the moves that's happened? Who's going to have the most impact, and who's gotten better?
Well, I kind of already touched on it, but I think the biggest move of the whole offseason so far is DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, you pair him up. You got an aging Larry Fitzgerald, but I mean, he could still catch everything. You got other young wide receivers in there. Kyler Murray is in his 2nd year. I think the game's going to slow down for him a little bit more. You could tell, like he thought he could. I don't think he's going to be as mobile as he was trying to be his first year. Like because we watched a few of his games where we're like he's trying to run and he just defensive linemen are catching up to him. But I think the game slows down. I think he'll have a better 2nd year. I think their defense has improved. To me, they seem like exciting team to watch in the future. They got a lot of potential.
They did touch on the offensive line during the draft too, so that's always a plus because that was one thing that really hurt them was that offensive line. Them losing David Johnson, obviously that's going to hurt a little bit, but he is an older running back, and as we know, running backs really don't last that long in the league, which is why a lot of them don't get paid. So, Antonio, you want to go ahead and give us your offseason winner there?
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay definitely won the offseason. I mean, I think the biggest transaction in the offseason besides DeAndre Hopkins was the Tom Brady trade. I mean, that's something you got to touch on. In my opinion, he's the greatest player, and I'm a Raider fan, and I hate to say this, but he's the greatest quarterback of all time. Hell, he might be the greatest athlete of all time. You pair him with Rob Gronkowski, and you have Mike Evans on one side and Chris Godwin on the other side. You draft an offensive tackle in the 1st round. I mean, you're looking at you're just going to build around him. I think Tampa Bay made great moves, and they're Super Bowl contenders just off of the Tom Brady trade. I mean, he'll make any team better, in my opinion. And Tampa Bay already had a quick shooting offense anyway. So you add that firepower to him, man, and they're going to make some noise down the next football season. So.
Any of you guys want to respond to that?
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think getting Gronk on that team, like the 2 receivers that they have, that offense is going to be fun to watch. I will be interested to see, Tom Brady's arm strength. He kind of seemed like he took a step back last year, and we'll see if he takes a step forward or if he takes another step back, and that'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the Bucks, man, they look loaded. Yeah. They look scary. Gronk. Let's not forget Gronk retired early. So I think he's only 28. And all they need is,
I think he's like 30. He's like 30.
All they need is 1 year.
He's skinny as heck. I don't know how he's going to build all that muscle mass back.
He's 30.
30?
He'll be 31 in a couple days. So
that's not all they need is 1 year.
Got a couple good years. Good years left.
Yeah, I think the only thing that hurts the Bucks is injuries at this point. I mean, the offense is so loaded. What excuse does Tom Brady have at this point, right? There's no excuse at all. This is it.
The thing is, I think the biggest adjustment is going to be Tom Brady and Bruce Arians. Tom Brady coming out of New England, he threw like 2-yard passes all the time, little quick passes. And Bruce Arians is a throw the ball down the field type of guy.
Mhm.
So how are they going to work together to complement each other? I think that's probably the biggest question, I guess.
And also,
So let me ask you guys. Go ahead, Earl.
I was going to say also the defense. I think the Bucks have a pretty solid defense. Their secondary can be a little questionable, but when you compare that to a Bill Belichick defense, I mean the Patriots had the number 1 defense last year, and they carried that team. Like the Bucks defense is not going to carry the Bucks, similar to how the Patriots defense carried them. And so it is going to be on Brady's shoulders to score points this year.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be hard for him to score points either. I mean, you look at Jameis Winston, he had phenomenal numbers besides his interception ratio, right? He would throw 4 or 5 picks a game, but the dude would throw for 346 yards and 4 touchdowns. So I don't think Brady's going to have any issue with putting points on the board, especially with the weapons that he has.
Yeah, but even with all those points, they still had a losing record, right?
Well, yeah, they got to.
So you got to do more than score points.
Yeah,
but
I mean, Jameis
if you
30 interceptions.
Yeah,
exactly.
I hear it.
Yeah.
If you take away the interceptions, that they make the playoffs, right?
Well, they were, and them interceptions came at crunch time. I mean,
Yeah,
a lot of
and
them
they're-
came in crunch time, man. I mean, you're driving down the field and you're in the freaking red zone and he's throwing interceptions, or they're on their last drive and he's throwing an interception. I know I'm glad I ain't a Buck. I mean, it's hard being a Raiders fan. Don't get me wrong. I about want to pull my hair out all the time, but man, Jameis Winston, I'd hate him as quarterback for my team. That's just my opinion. But
Yeah, I think he had 8 pick sixes in the fourth quarter, something like that. That's got to. I mean, those are daggers.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this: over under, Tom Brady interceptions 12.
under.
Yeah, under, yeah.
Easy.
12 is a lot. I mean, we're not talking Dak Prescott.
For
We're
him.
talking Tom Brady.
Why do we gotta go there? Hey, I don't think y'all can hear Earl anymore. He's on mute. No, I'm just No, but I mean, I think under 30 interceptions is that's hard to meet, right?
Yeah, there's no way. I'll be surprised if Tom Brady throws more than 10.
Yeah, no, Tom Brady's going to surprise a lot of people. He still has a lot of gas left in the tank, man. That dude is just super, he's field smart. He'll read your defense. I mean, you really can't disguise coverages with that guy. He's been in the round too long, and Tom Brady's going to be just fine, I'd say, for a couple of years at least before he really starts to fall down.
Yeah, definitely. Earl, what's your offseason winner?
All right, I'm going to kind of piggyback off of the Tampa Bay thing, but I'm flipping it, and I'm going Buffalo. And the number one reason is because Tom Brady left that division, and it's wide open for the Bills to dominate that division, get a good seed in the AFC. They should have beat Houston last year anyway, and I think they got a hell of a deal trading for Stephon Diggs. He's going to have an immediate impact and be that number 1 receiver that Josh Allen needs. That defense is stout. And so I think with Brady leaving and the acquisition of Diggs, they're going to be tough next year.
I like that. That Buffalo Mafia is going to be popping next year.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
It's all gonna come down to Josh Allen.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the one thing about him is he's a good game manager. It's just he's obviously got the arm strength, but he doesn't take very many risks. Do you guys think that's a coaching thing, or that's just a mental aspect from the quarterback?
I think it's a coaching thing. I mean, their defense is so good that they should win if they don't turn the ball over. Like, you don't need Josh Allen to put up 35 points. Like, let's get 17, 21 points and play defense. and they got a good running game. So I just think that's philosophy.
If you're Buffalo, do you take the risk this year and say, all right, Josh Allen, let's make some noise?
I wouldn't. I think Josh Allen's a hell of a quarterback. I think Josh he needs to stay with Buffalo. He's proved himself there. They made the playoffs last year. They should have beat Houston. I think he has a lot of heart. I think he's very smart. You got to give him some more time. You can't, like with me being a Raider fan, going on off of Derek Carr, we've had him for 5 years. How long has Josh Allen been with Buffalo and has actually had an opportunity to play?
What I mean though is, do you open up the? I'm not saying they get rid of him. I don't think they should get rid of him. What I'm saying is, do you open up the playbook to allow him to take more risks?
Oh, hell yeah, absolutely, dude. I think so, especially with Stephon Diggs now.
Yeah, now they have a weapon that they can open it up a little bit. With that said, I'm not letting him throw the ball 30, 40 times a game. Like, they need to run the ball and play defense. But I think they can get some play action with Diggs going deep, and that's going to be a threat that the defense has to plan for.
I agree with you on that one as well. I like Buffalo, man. Buffalo's gonna make some noise. I can see them winning that division.
Well, you can't knock Miami just yet.
They got heart.
Not winning that division.
Dude, Miami made some. I'll argue. No, you know what? Miami's gonna.
I like Miami's moves. Miami's moves are good. I like Miami's moves.
Yep, they did some work this offseason. They definitely did. And then drafting Tua, I mean, he can work behind Ryan Fitzpatrick for a little while, but Miami's gonna make some noise. They're not just gonna hand that division over. It's gonna be good.
So Miami over 8-8. You saying winning record this year?
Miami?
Yeah.
No, Miami's not. Miami's gonna do better than they did last year.
Well, they were the number 5 pick. So that's
but you got to look at what they did before the season ended too. They had a big win against New England in New England. To knock the pay. I mean, they got a lot of heart. Miami has a lot of heart. I won't want to discount them from winning that division. I think they have just a good opportunity. Buffalo does. It just depends on the day. I mean, just like anything. So.
No way.
Yeah, I agree they have a lot of heart, but I mean, I think Buffalo beats Miami 9.5 times out of 10.
Well, we'll have to. I hope they.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think Buffalo will beat Miami on a good day. If Miami's on their, if they're playing together and in sync, Miami's a tough team to beat, man. They really are. They just got to find their rhythm, and that's just.
But when you say that, you guys got to think about it. If Buffalo is on Buffalo's best day, and Miami's best day, you're not going to put your money on Miami.
Well, I know Miami. I think they finish games a lot better than Buffalo does. Buffalo has a history of choking the big one. I mean, they do
against New England.
Yeah, I mean, but you even look at the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl
against Houston, they choked.
Are you? Yeah.
I mean, this goes back years, man. This goes back.
The Houston game. Though. I mean, you got to talk. Deshaun Watson got so lucky. The fact that both defensive players hit him at the same time that kept them leveled up. I mean, that's never going to happen. I mean, what are the chances that happens?
That's what I'm trying to say, dude. Buffalo has like this black magic.
They just have bad luck. Stephon Diggs went from Minnesota, the worst luck, to Buffalo, second worst luck. I mean, that's two teams that went to 4 Super Bowls in a row and couldn't win one. I mean, he's in the same boat with a worse quarterback.
No. Stephon Diggs is going to change the luck, man. I mean, Minnesota had the luckiest catch ever, and that was Stephon Diggs.
Really? That wasn't even luck. I mean,
the quarterback.
That wasn't even luck, dude.
Head first, and didn't even look at where he was going to tackle. That was a dumb play.
Yeah, I mean, luck would have been like, I don't know.
Luck would have been
that
like
wasn't
tipped
luck.
it in the air or something, and then he caught it.
Yeah,
and then he ran for a touchdown or something like that. But no, that was just that was just bad. That was just crazy.
All right, so how many games do you think Miami will win next year? And I'm asking because, like, I think Buffalo gets to 10 at a minimum 10. And so if you think Miami's going to compete with that, you think that they're going to have a winning record plus some?
No, I think Miami will go, like you said earlier, 8-8. I think they'll have a kind of a season like the Raiders did, where they're going to be like last year. How we had our destiny in our hands, right? We lost 2 key games against Tennessee, and we lost against Denver for our last away game. I think Miami has it in their hands. Do I think they have the player or the coaching to pull it off as of yet? No, but they're going to build, and I think next year they'll be on track to making the playoffs.
That's tough.
No,
That's
I mean
bold
it.
ass prediction.
No, dude, I
That's
guarantee you, Miami will make the playoffs 2021 season.
Are we talking 2021? That's when you're assuming Tua starts, right?
Right. When Tua starts,
Yeah.
I think he's going to start this year.
I think he will at some point.
Yeah, I think we see Tua midway through the season. But if I'm Miami, I don't rush it. You don't rush it.
I would just put him in there.
No,
I would.
Because if you start him halfway through a season, you're going to get a watered down version of your team. You're not going to start off everything's, you already have what are you going to be 2-5, 2-6? Put him in there, and then play for experience. I think you just need to hit the ground running, dude. If he's healthy, put him in, dude. If he's healthy, put him in.
I think he needs to sit back behind Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ultimately that's going to be your best chance to win. Why not just put him in?
They're not in the situation to win right now, though.
Exactly.
Why are you going to put your future at risk?
If you put them in halfway, okay, so if you put them halfway in through the season, you're not going to be in a situation to win either. Just do it now.
Yeah,
you start off with a fresh face at quarterback, healthy. As long as he's healthy, I would say start him. As long as he's healthy.
I disagree. Most successful quarterbacks in this league don't start their rookie season. And even if they do, they suck their rookie season. So, if you have the luxury to let him sit behind somebody, let him learn for a year. Make sure his hip is fully healed. You're probably not making the playoffs this year regardless. Make sure he's healed and let him go year 2.
Well, I mean, just look at what Patrick Mahomes did sitting behind Alex Smith his first year.
Exactly.
That is just. I mean, do you think
how many Patrick Mahomes are there though?
But let me ask you something. Do you think Patrick Mahomes would have performed to the standards he is now his rookie year? I mean, you think he would have been like Dak Prescott even?
Oh yeah, I don't think it would have changed anything. I don't think it would have changed. Either you got it or you don't. I think Patrick Mahomes he showed it against that Denver game in the last game of the year. Yeah. Oh yeah. What? Alex Smith is still going to coach him.
You have to get exposed to the NFL. I mean, you got to get exposed. You got to learn behind somebody. You're not just going to come in and just. I don't. Just going to come in and destroy NFL defenses
Peyton Manning came in and didn't destroy his first year. He still has the interception record from that year 1. So his year. No,
but okay. So what about Big Ben? Big Ben's started playing the second game of the year. They go 15-1 his rookie season. I mean, sometimes it just works out in your favor. I mean,
sometimes.
Yeah, but those are.
I mean, it might not be. It's not. It might not be good for. It might not be good for Tua, but I mean, there's really nothing to lose in that situation as long as he's healthy. That's all I'm saying. In that situation, I would put. He's already healthy though. That's what I'm saying. He's healthy. Just put him in.
Borba. They have everything to lose. If Tua goes down again with another hip injury, he's done, and you just wasted an entire.
That could happen if he comes in halfway through the season.
But I feel
that could happen at any time though.
But
the scouting report says he's injury prone.
You got to let him heal though. That's just, you got to sometimes.
He is. Oh my gosh.
You know the saying that says sometimes.
I agree. Okay.
Hey, sometimes
I'm just saying in that situation though.
Hey, you guys know that saying that sometimes you got to save the athlete from themselves. You can't rush him back. You got to let him.
If he's 90, if he's even okay, I'll say this: if he's even 95%, you don't play him. I'm saying a fully healthy, he's already shown in the virtual whatever. What they're gonna do, they're gonna look at him. Their medical staff, they're gonna look at him to make sure he's cleared. If he's cleared, I don't see the reason not to start him. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he'll give you a couple wins, but I mean, he's not going to do anything crazy. You got all that potential right there. Why don't you it just works out. I mean, I don't think they're going to ruin him
to sit him a year to learn behind a veteran quarterback.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's a bad approach either, but I'm saying and I'm just saying my take, whatever. why not just start him in this situation? There's certain situations, you have a guy sit behind a starter, but I don't know. In this situation, I just don't see that.
Well, just
I
to
mean,
go
you
from
got
what
Ryan
Renee said.
Fitzpatrick.
Well, to go for okay,
mean-
so let's just say Tua is 100% healthy, which he claims he is, and I believe that he is too. You put him in this year, and he ends up getting hurt again, or you wait till next year, a couple of years down, well, even 2 years down the road, where Miami has a solid football team to build around, and he gets hurt. Let's say he gets hurt this year, his rookie season, or he gets hurt, next year, and the Dolphins are actually have a solid football team to go around. I'd rather him get hurt the second season, but win off something than to get hurt the first season and they weren't going anywhere anyway. You get what I'm saying? That's why I think Tua needs to sit for that first year, because you don't take a huge loss at him sitting back and watching football from the bench and learning, and then that second season when you actually have a shot at making a run in the playoffs or even the second, third season, and he's healthy and he goes down, then, well, I mean, you tried, right? At that point, you tried.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
agree. And the Patrick Mahomes comparison is kind of tough because Patrick Mahomes also was put in a situation where a team was already successful.
Yeah. There's not many quarterbacks that can just come in. I mean, there's not many quarterbacks that just sit that just come in at the beginning of the year and just blow it up. But like in this situation, I don't see much of a, I don't know. In the Dolphins situation, you're not gonna, you might win 6 games this year, 7 games, with Tua or without Tua. So I mean, and to say he's gonna get hurt again, I mean, that could just be college. You hear guys injury prone all the time in college. They come to the pros, they have a successful long career. It's just, I don't know. I just don't see much of a negative thing. If he's healthy, I don't see much negative in starting him at the beginning of the season. If he's ready to go, that's all I'm saying.
I can agree with you too on that, because look what Miami did when they passed up on Drew Brees because he was injury prone, right? So look where Drew Brees.
Oh yeah,
You got to throw that. I mean, I can see both sides of the argument, definitely.
And he's only going to gain experience. I think this year should be all experience. I mean, I don't expect them to make a run or anything, but I mean, give him the experience right now.
Damn, Borba's making me a believer, dude. I think I'm gonna go back.
I really don't. And if he gets hurt, I mean, how many? I mean, I think if he gets hurt, I don't think it's gonna be the hip again. I don't know. Like,
we don't know. We really don't know. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to our next topic. I mean, one thing we do know is that's their quarterback. Whether he's going to start or not, we don't know yet. So we'll just have to wait and see. But let's move on to this next segment. It's called Trust or Bust. I'm going to name you guys a quarterback. Let me know if you trust him or if he's going to be a bust this year. All right? So let's start off with Mitchell Trubisky. Chicago Bears did bring over Nick Foles. There's a purpose behind that. What do you guys think the Chicago organization is thinking about Mitchell Trubisky, and what are the outcomes if he doesn't perform? I mean, obviously we know the outcome, but how do you guys see the season playing out? Antonio, let's start with you this time.
I think Mitch is a bust, dude. I mean, that's just my opinion. That is like he hasn't really showed anything. I mean, you look at the London game against Oakland, and pretty much every team that's in the position to beat the Oakland Raiders, now Las Vegas Raiders, they've done it, and he couldn't do it. That's just an example that I'm using, but I think bringing in Nick Foles was a great decision by the organization. That's someone to fall back on, or they might even use him to kind of help Mitch Trubisky, see the field a lot better than what he does now. Because some of the throws that, I don't even think he opens his eyes when he throws the football.
Earl, you want to touch on that?
I agree. I mean, he's a bust. He's had 4 years I think this will be his 4th year with one of the best defenses. He just can't throw the ball down the field, and you're not going to win in the NFL if you can't make some throws down the field. They brought in Nick Foles for a reason. Like, that contract is not cheap. They're paying him to be there.
And they didn't pick up the 5th-year option.
Right. Yep.
Borba?
Oh, totally bust. Mitchell Trubisky Ponder. That's what I call him. He's so bad. It doesn't get any worse than that. And Nick Foles, not much of an upgrade, honestly. They just declined Trubisky's 5th year option. So I mean, he's on his way out anyways. So
Yeah, I think
I think that whole quarterback situation's a mess. Nick Foles isn't really going to do anything. He's not in that division. So it's going to be the same thing as Jacksonville last year.
I think what Chicago's doing is they're hoping that Mitchell Trubisky performs at a decent level where they can get some value out of him next year.
I agree.
That's where I think they're heading. All right, guys, next one. We got Phillip Rivers signed a 1-year contract with the Indianapolis Colts. Do you trust them to take them to the playoffs, or is this another busted year? Earl, let's start with you this time.
Man, that's tough. I want to trust him so bad, but he's had so much talent with the Chargers year in and year out and just can't get anything done. So I've got to go bust. Like, he'll have a few good games and Jonathan Taylor will help, but
let me add let's add the fact that this is probably the best offensive line that he's ever played with.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the receivers that he had or the tight end that he had. Like, I mean, I agree that the running game is going to help him, but he's just getting older and he doesn't have the weapons. And I don't think that the Colts defense is as good as the Chargers defense was. So when I look at it overall, I just don't trust him.
Borba?
I want to say trust as well, but I mean, it's hard to trust that because the defense obviously isn't as good as Chargers defense. They do have a decent pass rush and stuff, but offensively he does have a good line. It's hard to trust him though. I think they're gonna be decent. I think they're gonna, contend, but I think he's just a bridge quarterback for someone to draft next year, a potential starter for next year in the draft. I think he's just a bridge quarterback. You have a competitive team for a year, and that's pretty much it. I don't think he's going to do anything special with them. So I guess I'll go bust.
Antonio?
Yeah, I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to say.
Oh, no.
Oh, he left us there. It sounded like he was going to say trust, though, right?
That's why he got cut off.
You guys, hey, while we wait for him to come back in, you guys don't think that with the extension of the playoffs as well, that Indianapolis could get in?
I think.
I think they could get in.
I think they could, yeah. But I mean, if you're talking just making the playoffs, I feel like that's kind of a low bar. Like, Phillip Rivers is playing his 38th year to do more than make the playoffs.
Yeah, Antonio, we lost you there for a second.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I guess they didn't. I guess the internet connection didn't like what I was saying. They're saying I'm full of that, but no, I'm still going to stick with trust on Phillip Rivers. I think he has the best offensive line he's going to play around. T.Y. Hilton wasn't involved a lot with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback last year. You got to use your weapons. They can develop a running game. I think Phillip Rivers is going to surprise a lot of people. I don't want to go as far as the Colts making the playoffs, but I think he's going to be a lot better. I think he's our best option since Andrew Luck. I mean, that's obvious, right?
So
for a year.
If you're a Colts fan, wouldn't you consider that a bust? Like, why pay this guy $20 million if you're not going to make the playoffs? Like, I'd rather tank and draft a quarterback next year.
But who's really coming up in the, let's just say, for instance, next year's draft, who are you going to draft as a quarterback?
Trevor Lawrence.
I don't think he's that good of a quarterback.
Yeah, but you got to go 1-15 to get him.
I don't like Trevor Lawrence.
You got to literally tank.
I like Jake Fromm more than I like Trevor Lawrence.
What?
That's just my opinion. Hey, dude, just like when the Raiders drafted quarterback Damon Arnett and everybody flipped out and I was all excited and happy about it. But I think Jake Fromm is better than freaking Trevor Lawrence is, dude. Trevor Lawrence is a pretty boy at most. No, I mean, I'm going to piss people off for saying that, but
yeah, hey,
badass.
Hey, you just earned your mute for the day.
Dude, that's fine, dude. That's my opinion, bro. You know what? I'm not.
That's crazy.
I'm not sold on Trevor Lawrence. I'm not sold on him. I'm really not. It's just like you have certain like Vince Young, which is that's a bad guy because he was a running quarterback, but you have guys who freaking prevent. I mean, they just went off in college football, and then you put them in the NFL. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to do the damage that Joe Burrow is going to do, for instance. Joe Burrow is going to be a hell of a quarterback.
I honestly think Trevor Lawrence is better than Joe Burrow, to be honest.
I don't think so, dude. Joe Burrow is I don't think he's overly hyped. Just look at what he did in the national championship game. So
what do you not like about Lawrence? Like, he's accurate, he's mobile, he doesn't really throw picks. So I'm just curious, like, what you don't like about him.
I mean, he even looks like a girl.
Yeah, I mean, he got that going for him, right? But to me, I think Trevor Lawrence is a great quarterback in college football. To me, I don't think he has the, okay, let's look at Baker Mayfield, right? Because he has the accuracy too. He's a little bit shorter. He has the athleticism, but he comes into the Cleveland Browns organization and he just doesn't flourish. You give him Odell Beckham, you give him Jarvis Landry, and I don't think that, accuracy can only go so far. I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is smart enough to be in the NFL. I think it's just that's just my opinion.
That's bold.
That's just my opinion.
Well, we won't know. I mean, we won't know until next year. We won't know until next.
Right.
Will he go first round? 100%.
Yeah.
Unless he gets, he's going number one.
Yeah, but I mean, look at like what the analysts even said about Jamarcus Russell for LSU, dude. He freaking tore everybody up, and he busted with the Raiders like nobody's ever busted before. That's
he's a special kind of bust. He's a special kind of bust.
Yeah.
He's not good. He was awful.
I don't know. I think if you're accurate in college, that translates to the NFL. Like, Baker's accuracy is not in college is not the equivalent of Trevor Lawrence's or Tua's.
It's his decision making.
Yeah.
You can be accurate, but you can have poor decision making.
Agreed.
You might not read the field good or something like
that. And he's getting coached by Dabo.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like him, but I don't like.
He's got a guru behind him. Like, they're sitting in the lab just watching film all day. I think he's put in the best situation he could possibly be. And I think Deshaun Watson is kind of a creation of what Dabo Swinney can create. So I like Trevor Lawrence, but I mean, you're entitled to how you feel about him. Right. It's gonna be crazy if Oakland has a shitty year and they go draft Trevor Lawrence.
I don't think they'd do that. I don't think he'd fit into Gruden's offense, man. I just don't see it. You know what, though? If you want to speak about quarterbacks, right? So I'm going to go off the grid, like way off the grid. With what Green Bay did by drafting Jordan Love, I was.
Hold on. We'll touch on that in just a bit.
Okay, but
we're going to get there.
I'll leave it there then.
We're going to get there. All right, so let's go on.
He's ready to throw a low blow at Earl.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
He was ready to attack him.
Hey. All right, hey, last one for trust or bust. Lock for the Denver Broncos. We touched on this before the show started. Do you trust him? Or is he a bust? On this one, I'm not talking this year. I'm talking long term. Oh, my bad. Borb, let's start with you this time.
I trust him. I mean, that they're looking up right now, so you have nothing to lose. You got all the potential there. You got the receivers around him. You got running backs around him. Your old line's not bad. You got a pretty good defense. So I would put all the trust in him right now. I mean, he's definitely their day one starter. So I would ride with him.
Right on, Earl.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, he's got all the talent around him now with receivers, running backs, tight end. The offensive line could maybe use a little bit of work, but I think they're good enough. Defense is solid. I think he's set up to win. That division's tough, so I'm not going to say that they're going to win the division this year, but I like the direction that they're going.
Right on. Antonio?
I'd say trust, too. I think the Broncos are telling you they trust him by what they did in the draft, what they did in the offseason, getting Melvin Gordon, drafting Jerry Jeudy, keeping Courtland Sutton. I think Drew Lock's going to be a great fit for that kind of fast-paced offense. See, the AFC West is going to be like a NASCAR race this year. You watch. If, God willing, football starts when it's supposed to start. The AFC West is all about speed now. So I think that Drew Lock, he got his weapons, and I hate to say it, but I think he's a good quarterback for Denver.
Yeah, he's gonna be solid. I think if you're looking long term, I agree with you guys. If they want to make some noise, I think they go after someone that's available right now. But he's definitely the lock for the Broncos. All right, man. Right on. Let's move on to our free agents. We had Andy Dalton. He just signed with the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to touch on that in just a little bit. So really the only big free agent as far as quarterbacks go is Cam Newton. And to replace Andy Dalton, I'm going to go with Clowney because he's kind of just sitting on the fence. He's not in any hurry. So let's start with Cam Newton. What do you guys think he should do, and what's the best fit for him right now? Earl, let's start with you.
Man, I don't know. Obviously, he wants to go somewhere that he can start. I just don't really know like what quarterback needy teams are still left after the draft.
Yeah, really, you're just looking at Jacksonville, right?
Yeah, and like I don't know that I don't think Cam Newton brings Jacksonville like to Super Bowl contention. So like why would you not just roll with Minshew and see what he has? So I don't like that fit. Unless there's a team that can sign him and think that they're Super Bowl contenders, like I'm gonna let my young QBs play it out and see what I have. Newton's going on like 31, and he's a mobile quarterback, so you know the longevity is a question there. So I'm really not sure as far as starting positions.
Borba?
I know there's been talks about New England getting him, but I don't think New England wants to get him either. So, you know, I think they read out with Jeff Stidham, whatever his name is. Other than that, I think it's going to have to take a quarterback getting injured, a starting quarterback getting injured, or something like that for a team to, you know, be kind of desperate and sign him, you know, before the season starts. And what team will that be? I don't know.
Antonio?
No, I agree with Borba and Earl. I mean, I don't think Cam Newton's going to sign anywhere, period, this year. I agree with what Borba said. I think the only good option would have been New England, but I don't think New England's willing to take that risk on him. I don't think Cam Newton got the goods for Bill Belichick to even work with. Cam Newton, to me, he's overrated now. He's not playing the way he used to play a couple of years ago. I don't think Cam Newton's going anywhere, and I don't think he should, in my opinion.
Dang. Right on. Well, just to keep the conversation up, you guys think about this during y'all's downtime. It could be a possibility that Oakland looks for something to replace Derek Carr, or you can even look as far as now. Really, honestly, that was my only thing. But let's move on from that topic.
So hey, Renee, pause real quick. Who I think should have signed him is I think the Colts should have signed him. I think that would have been better than Phillip Rivers, but obviously they're not going to pay both of them, so that ship sailed.
And last one, Javion Clowney, he's holding out. He's not in no rush. His price tag went down, $23 million a year. Now he went down to 17.5. I think the only two contenders are Seattle and help me out.
Tennessee.
How do you guys think this plays out? Antonio, we can start with you.
I think he'll go to Tennessee. I think that'd be the smartest move, to be honest with you. Tennessee came back off of an amazing run with Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill. They got the weapons. They can up their defense by adding Jadeveon Clowney, and I think he'd be a great fit for Tennessee. I think he'd be a perfect fit for Tennessee. I can see him wearing a Tennessee Titan freaking jersey like right now.
Yeah, I'm into that. Earl?
I don't know why you would go to Tennessee over Seattle. I think Seattle, like, I trust Russell Wilson to get me to the playoffs every year. I think the defenses are about the same, and so I'm gonna look at the quarterback position. And if you want to win, I'm gonna stay in Seattle if the contracts are the same and ride it out.
Borba?
I like the Tennessee fit, but I don't think no one's willing to pay as high as he's asking for. When you got to go publicly and say that we're dropping the price from 20 something to 17, I mean, that's bad management. You shouldn't do that. So, you know, I think teams want to get him cheaper. If there's a little bit of a cheaper price, I think more options will open up. But I would say Tennessee because they seem like they're most interested. But I mean, if I kind of agree with Earl. I mean, you got Russell Wilson. I would stay with Russell Wilson. But I mean, I think he's gonna go where he's gonna get paid the most at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think even if the contracts are the same, I think I would lean towards Tennessee. I mean, I agree. Russell Wilson, you want to be on his team because he can carry you. As far as Ryan Tannehill, you really don't know. I mean, he's decent, but outside of, I mean, we haven't seen him on this team when Derrick Henry can't run, right? So, but I do think the Titans' defense is better than what Seattle has. And if you add Clowney to that defense, I mean, damn, that defense is
Yeah,
scary.
dude. Definitely.
So that's gonna be fun to keep our eyes on. So let's go ahead and move on to the fun part here. We got some quarterback drama, primarily in the NFC East. Let's start with Philly drafting Jalen Hurts. What do you guys think this says to Carson Wentz? And I mean, just what does it say in general by them going after Jalen Hurts? Borba, let's start with you.
I don't think it says anything. I think what they're doing is trying to get depth, because I mean, what did they have? 41-year-old Josh McCown last year in the playoffs, trying to get them a win. I think Jalen Hurts kind of fits their offense really good, and obviously he's going to be a backup. They're definitely drafting. I think it's a really good move because Carson Wentz. I mean, he hasn't been able to finish out seasons. So to have that backup insurance just in case he goes down, like if they would have got him, say he comes out last year and he's a backup last year, I mean, who knows what could have happened in that game? But I think it's a really good pickup. I don't think there's no drama. I don't think it's anything like that. I think it's just a good, insurance policy, good depth, a guy that can learn. And I mean, it goes from there. I think they're still invested in Carson Wentz 100%, at least this year, and whatever happens after this year, who knows? But this year, it's a good move this year for what they're trying to do.
Earl?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, like Borba said, Wentz has, he's had a lot of injuries, and the Eagles had a backup plan a few years ago, and they won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles. So it obviously worked out for them to have two QBs and an insurance policy on Wentz, and I think it's smart to have that. I mean, they already paid Wentz, so I don't think he's super like they're not going to cut him. I don't even know that they could really trade him. So I mean, I think he's still the for sure starter, But it doesn't hurt to have a good backup quarterback. Like we've seen lots of seasons derailed by the starting quarterback getting injured, and if you have somebody who can step in, like Teddy Bridgewater did last year, and win some games while Drew Brees was out, like it salvages the season, and then you come back and you're still in the playoffs instead of losing every game and your season's over.
Agreed. Antonio, what's your thoughts?
I agree. I agree as well. I think you have to have a contingency plan with as much time as Carson Wentz gets hurt. I think Jalen Hurts fits in great with the offense. I think it was a real good move by Philadelphia. I mean, if Carson Wentz has gotten hurt pretty much every freaking year that he's played for Philadelphia. So Jalen Hurts was the next best quarterback on the board, in my opinion. So I think that was a great decision to pick him. And you need a good backup. Look at Oakland. When we made the playoffs back in, I want to say it was 2015? 2016.
Yeah, Derek Carter, man.
And he broke his leg against Indianapolis Christmas Eve. I was eating a steak mid-Might. He breaks his leg. I freaking don't want to eat anymore. Cried. Shaved my head and everything. So, but anyway, no, you look at that, and you have two freaking horrible backup QBs, man. I mean, that was a great pick by Philadelphia. You have to have somebody to back a guy, especially as injury-prone as Carson Wentz, and someone who's talented like that. I think that was a great move. I don't think there'll be any drama by any means. Carson Wentz is still your starter, but I'm not mad they drafted Jalen Hurts.
Yep, I agree 100% with all you guys on that. Let's move on here. let's go to the Green Bay Packers, drafting Love in the first round. A lot of chatter in the NFL world about people saying this has pissed off Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has not spoken publicly about it, but let's go ahead and start with Borba real quick, and then we'll go to you, Antonio.
Yeah,
and then
no,
we'll
I'm
let
waiting, dude. I'm itching.
Yeah, we'll let Earl back himself up.
Borba's a
So,
hater.
Yeah,
Borba, let's
you know
start with
what?
you.
Okay, I'm gonna. Yeah. Okay. So you're 13-3. Go to the NFC Championship game. We were one game away from the Super Bowl. Everybody's all hyped, whatever, blah blah. You go into the offseason, you go into the draft, you trade up. Okay, we're gonna get a wide receiver first round, whatever. You get Jordan Love, a wannabe Patrick Mahomes, who's might have some potential, in the future. I don't know. Definitely a project, 100% a project. I just don't see the move. I don't see why it's logical to not help out Aaron Rodgers, to instead get a backup quarterback. Like, I understand that's how Aaron Rodgers entered the league, as a backup, behind Brett Favre. But I think there's going to be, you have years, if you want to keep Aaron Rodgers for the next 3-4 years, I mean, you have plenty of time to get a different quarterback. What you need to do is help them offensively. I mean, they actually have loaded. They've done a good job drafting on defense. They've built good corners on defense. They've got good free agent signings on defense. Why not help them offensively? Get them a first round wide receiver. I was looking at. I don't know if you guys saw this also. Aaron Rodgers has thrown only one TD pass to one first round wide receiver in his whole career. And that was Martellus Bennett. He's not even a wide receiver. He's a tight end. But, I just think you got to help him. I think you got to help him offensively, I understand the moves that they made later on in the draft, to help the running game and all that. But I just don't agree with that move at all.
Antonio?
So, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I would be absolutely pissed. And I mean, out of my freaking mind, right? So I know he had his issues with Mike McCarthy, but this is what happened. Matt LaFleur came in and said, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to build around Jordan Love, and I don't care what your wants are. You lose to San Francisco 2 times. You lose to him during the regular season by like freaking 20 points, and you go to the NFC Championship game, and you get murdered by him, 37-20. So, in my opinion, them drafting Jordan Love was a shot at Aaron Rodgers. I think what Borba said, they should have drafted an offensive line to protect the guy. They should have drafted some wide receivers to give him some more weapons than just Devontae Adams. I think what they're doing is they're going to end up pushing Aaron Rodgers out, and guess who's going to take him? The Oakland Raiders. You watch.
Yeah, it sounds.
That
actually makes sense. I would actually agree with that. I agree with that. He's not going to finish his career as a Packer. I'll tell you that right now. There's no way. No way.
Earl, before you go, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about Brett Favre, but Brett Favre also made that statement about he doesn't see Aaron Rodgers finishing off his career in Green Bay, which is possible. I mean, a lot of quarterbacks don't do that. But let's not forget the contract that he does have. It's pretty loaded. So, Earl, just give us your response, and also kind of tell us how you feel about the Packers not taking a wide receiver or an offensive lineman to help out Aaron Rodgers.
All right, so kind of like how we all agreed on the Eagles, right? Carson Wentz gets injured. It's great for them to have a backup plan. I can think of 3 recent seasons where the Packers' season was pretty much over when Aaron Rodgers got injured. So to have a solid backup for him is not a bad idea. Number one, first and foremost. Because if we have a backup quarterback that can win a few games, he doesn't even have to be great, but win a few games if Rodgers gets injured for 4 weeks or something, like that keeps our chances alive, where we do not have that right now. We've had horrible backup quarterback play for the last several seasons. So I do like it from a backup QB perspective right now. I also think that, everybody's kind of putting on Jordan Love, but Patrick Mahomes was the 4th rated quarterback in that draft a few years ago, behind Trubisky, Watson, and who's the other one?
Lamar Jackson went late. Giants.
Yeah, Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
the quarterback rankings, they come out with 1 through 4, 1 through 5. Think how many, top 5 quarterback busts there's been. So I really don't take, they rank these quarterbacks in just about every year they're wrong. If they weren't wrong, then we wouldn't see the same 5 to 10 teams picking the first 10 picks of the draft every single year. So moving on to what I wish we would have done. Yeah, I do wish that we would have taken, if we could have got one of the top 3 receivers in the draft, for sure, completely agree with you. But if you look at who was available by pick number 26, Lamb was gone, Judy was gone, Ruggs was gone, Jefferson was gone. So I honestly don't like another receiver enough that I to take at the end of the first round that I think would make an impact this season. Like, I don't think that Higgins would beat out Funchess for our number 2 receiver this year. And so there wasn't anybody there that I loved. So I was fine not taking a receiver because we have a lot of 3 and 4s, receiver 3, receiver 4. There's no reason to take a draft pick and invest in somebody who's not going to be an immediate impact at the receiver position. And so I do wish we would have taken Patrick Queen at 26. I think that would have been a solid improvement to our defense. But from the offensive perspective, by 26, those receivers were gone. Ajoiku was gone. I don't think that there was anybody at the receiver position that would have a huge impact this season.
So let me ask you this though.
Hold on, sorry. One more point. And then Borba, your point about Aaron Rodgers has thrown 1 touchdown pass to a first-round draft pick is the dumbest thing ever. In the second round, the Packers have drafted Randall Cobb, Jordy Nelson, and Greg.
In the second round.
That's my point.
In the second round, not in the first round.
That's my point. When you have 3 studs like that you can find in the second round, why do you need to take one in the first round?
But I'm not saying they should have, specifically gone after a wide receiver or whatever. I mean, yes, he needs help offensively. I agree with that. But right there at that pick, I also agree that there was not. I wouldn't have taken a wide receiver at that spot. But why spend a first round pick on a quarterback when you can get Queen also? I mean, that would have been a really good move if they would have got a middle linebacker like that, inside linebacker like that. But I don't know.
No, Queen, I think Queen would have been solid, but we did sign Christian Kirksey from the Browns, middle linebacker. If he can stay healthy, I think he's going to be really good. So, if it really what this comes down to is if Jordan Love becomes one of the next best quarterbacks, this is going to be talked about as one of the best moves ever. And if it's a bust, then it's going to be a bust, and we're not going to know for a few years.
So just plain out and simple, Earl. If you're Aaron Rodgers, are you upset?
No, because I think we solidified the offensive line. We got a bruising running back. So clearly we want to run the ball more, right? We drafted a tight end in the 3rd that we think will be a good option for him for a tight end 2. And we want to get more into running the ball like the Titans. And when you go into those formations, you don't have 3 or 4 receivers on the field that often. So
yeah,
or the 49ers.
I don't.
You guys are pretty much taking the 49ers formula.
Yeah. No, I can't. If
that.
I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'd be pissed. I mean, you look at what Green Bay has a history of doing this with Brett Favre. They draft Aaron Rodgers with Aaron Rodgers. Now they're drafting Jordan Love. What Green Bay told Aaron is, we're not investing in now. We're investing for the future. And I'd be pissed because Green Bay was 1 game out of the Super Bowl, and for them not to go after the positions they needed the most and go after a quarterback they're taking their foot off the pedal, and they want to rebuild and then eventually maybe go after someone big name.
I don't know how you can say investing in the offensive line and the running back position when you want to run the ball isn't investing in now. It's not.
Aaron Rodgers is a gunslinger, though.
But we signed Funchess in free agency. I think Funchess is going to be a solid receiver too. If he didn't get hurt last year, there's no way we would have got him for such a cheap deal. He balled out with Cam Newton in Carolina.
But why do you want to let me ask you something. I mean, why do you want to run the football? I mean, Aaron Jones is great, right? That's the running back there. He's great. Don't get me wrong. But why do you want to run the football when you have a gunslinger like Aaron Rodgers? Why not give him more weapons and give him the ability to do what he does best? You guys have won playoff games solely on his arm, not on the running game.
We haven't won Super Bowls.
I think.
with that.
Well, okay. To add to
He's had that. We've
To
had
add to
Randall
that, I
Cobb,
mean-
we've had Jordy Nelson, we've had Greg Jennings, and we couldn't.
And
run
you
the
won
ball.
Super Bowls with him that way.
No, we won one, and that's when we had a hell of a defense. Outside of that, we've lost a lot of playoff games by throwing, 3 incompletions in a row with Mike McCarthy as the coach and surrounded with talent at receiver. Like, that hasn't worked for the last 10 years.
And also, I think
agree,
Aaron
yeah.
Rodgers has dropped off the last couple of years.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think. I think you still put Aaron Rodgers in your top 10, maybe your top 5 last year.
Top 5 quarterback easy, man. You can't.
Top 10.
Top 5.
You're going, but you're going based off of statistics that when Aaron Rodgers was slinging the rock 30 to 40 times a game.
You got to watch his.
compare-
I mean,
Yeah, you can show
I
me
just don't
4
think he was
clips
as
from.
productive.
You can show me 4 or 5 videos from a 60-minute game and say, "Oh, look, his accuracy's off." Yeah, everybody. Yeah, I could pick out shit from Tom Brady. I could pick out shit from Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. I mean, we criticize all these guys so much off of 4 or 5 passes. Granted, some of them are more crucial than others, given what Jimmy Garoppolo might have caused San Francisco. Aaron Rodgers hasn't fell off. Aaron Rodgers just doesn't have the weapons just yet. I mean, they got the dual running backs, which is going to help, and that's going to open up the play action for Aaron Rodgers to be creative. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm a little bit upset because it is kind of saying that, all right, we're ready if we need to be, rather than, okay, hey, we're going to win next year. That's the only thing that. But if Aaron Rodgers is the Aaron Rodgers that he seems to be, all it is adds a chip on his shoulder to really show out next year. Do I see Aaron Rodgers being MVP next year? 100%. 100%.
So you also have to look at last year, the games that we just got destroyed were against the Chargers and the 49ers both times. None of those 3 games we could run the football because our offensive line was getting punked and we could not run the football at all. When we could run the football last year, like in Dallas, Renee, you might remember that. That's when we won games. Like, we need to be able to run the football to win. Aaron Rodgers isn't going to drop back and throw it 40 times and beat you. Like, we don't have the weapons for that. We've got to run the football and do some play action, and Rodgers will be deadly because he's still so accurate.
All right, guys, let's move on to the next one. We're going to find out whether Aaron Rodgers has a chip on his shoulder and performs, or if he's going to be pissed and demand a trade to Oakland, according to Antonio and Borba, right? Bold prediction. I love it, though. So, all right, guys, let's move on to.
I never said he was mad.
I don't think Oakland has anything to trade.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but you guys might want to get rid of that salary cap hit, though.
Yeah.
It'd have to be 2 years from now, though.
So let's talk about what you guys really want to talk about. The one thing that Borba always thinks about: the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh.
All right, man. You guys, I'm not going to pick who wants to start. One of y'all just start talking. But Dallas Cowboys just signed Andy Dalton to a 1-year contract. What does this say to Dak Prescott, and what does this mean to the Dallas Cowboys? Go ahead. One of you guys can go ahead and start this.
I'll start. I don't think it says anything. I think it just it gives Dallas some a certain stance at backup quarterback. I think Dak Prescott's their guy. I think they've made it known, and I don't think there's anyone better for the Dallas Cowboys than Dak Prescott. There's nobody out there that they can go after. So what they're doing is just, if that goes down, Andy Dalton's a great backup quarterback, in my opinion. So that's what I think they did there.
See, this is where everybody's so hypocritical. It's okay for everybody to have a great backup quarterback, except for when the Packers do it, it means Aaron Rodgers is getting shipped to Oakland. So,
but you both. Oh, go ahead. Earl. Go ahead.
So
different monster, though.
I mean, I could twist that and say, Dak is pissed off because that's $3 million that could go towards his contract this year. Like, if he wanted 40 and Dallas is at 35, like there's $3 million to meet in the middle, and they could have got a deal done. But no, I'm not saying that. I do like the signing because I think that they need to have a good backup quarterback. Like Dak could get hit and go out, and like that team's talented enough to win with average quarterback play, like they have the last couple of years. And so, I don't think it's a bad signing. But I do think that Dak, like if I was him, I'm just gonna hold out. Like why not?
Yeah. Borba.
Here's my take. I think the Cowboys signed Dalton because they already know they're not going to get a deal with Dak. Dak's going to hold out. Why do you think there's $4 million in incentives? I mean, obviously there's something going on where Jerry Jones does not like the contract negotiations. They can't get a deal done. I think Jerry Jones is actually playing this out smart. I think this is one of the smart things that he's done, lately over the years. You want to pay a quarterback's asking for 35, 40 million. He's not worth that at all. He's an average quarterback in the league. I mean, he's mobile. I mean, he's sometimes accurate. I mean, and Jerry Jones sees it. I mean, he's not sold on him. I'm 100% in Jerry Jones' corner on this. He's not sold on Dak to be a franchise quarterback, and I think this move proves it. And if they can't get a deal done, then see ya. I mean, I don't know. Let Andy run the show. I mean, they're going to still have the same record. I don't think he changes nothing really. I mean, he's got more targets. He's got more targets to throw to than Dak did last year. So, I mean, Andy Dalton's just as good. What's the drop-off? There's really not much of a drop-off.
I think there's definitely a little bit of a drop-off, especially with mobility, and just learning.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's the biggest. I would for sure rather have Dak. And, I see your point, Borba, but I think Dak has all the leverage. Like, Jerry Jones wants to win a Super Bowl within the next few years. Like, he's built this team to win now. He's not trying to draft another quarterback and develop that quarterback and win a Super Bowl 5 years from now. Like, he has built this team to win now, and their windows within the next few years or the cap position just keeps getting worse and worse. Like, I feel like Dak has a lot of leverage.
Well, do you think this move is saying, Jerry Jones is playing around, like, let's lower the offers? Do you think, like, they start listening to lower offers, like a lower contract? I mean, maybe that's what this move's saying. Like, I don't know, like he's not afraid to replace Dak, so lower offers.
I don't necessarily think I don't think it's a slap in the face of Dak. I think what Dallas is saying is we're capping out at 35 mil, and that's what we like. What I think Jerry Jones is doing is he's realizing the fact that a lot of there's never been a team that's won the Super Bowl after they cash out on a quarterback. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's never been a team that's won a Super Bowl after they cap out on a quarterback, and I think Jerry Jones knows that. And in order to build the team around Dak Prescott, like he has. I mean, this goddamn offense looks so juicy. Like, what the hell do you do? How do you play defense against this team? And I think that's part of the conversation they're having with Dak is I've set you up to succeed, but this is the number that I need you so we can build defensively. Because the one thing that Dallas suffers is on the defense, and I think everybody in the world knows that Dallas needs to focus on the defense going into the start of the season. Because, I mean, the offense is dynamic. The addition to CeeDee Lamb, they've just gotten better. I mean, Randall Cobb was good, but this is a young, speedy, good route runner. They're solid. And I think this is it. They're telling Dak 35, that's where we're at. If not, Andy Dalton's starting the season off, because if I'm Dak Prescott, I'm sitting out too. But ultimately, I think they're going to come to a decision, and they're going to be sitting at 35 mil, and that's it. And Andy Dalton is that guy. He's good enough to win you enough games not to lose you a spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think Dak Prescott should sit out. I think he's gonna take that deal because who's gonna pick him up? Who's gonna go and pay him that as much as he wants? I don't think he's gonna sit out. I think he's stupid not to say no. I don't think the Jaguars are going to pay him.
Jaguars.
It's worth it. It's not worth it.
Jaguars is just going down a
What
black
about
hole.
the Raiders? You wouldn't trade Derek Carr for Dak?
That's like
We
Man,
wouldn't
they're-
trade Derek.
Oh, okay, I'm not saying trade. I'm saying if you could cut Carr and Dak became a free agent, like you wouldn't be. You don't think that
I wouldn't
would
be sold on him
considered
because Dak isn't that much better than Derek Carr. See, I'm on. Here's where I'm at with Derek Carr. I want to give him one more year. Okay, Derek Carr. His issue is he doesn't like to throw the deep ball. He likes to throw the check down 110 times. That's why his passer rating is out the roof. His completion rating is out the roof. You know, we need to surround Derek Carr with some good solid options, and that's what we're doing by drafting 3 receivers. And we have a hell of a tight end. We just picked up Jason Witten to teach. I mean, he's just going to bring it. I mean, that's a great pickup. I think. I wouldn't trade Derek Carr for Dak Prescott because to me they're all the same. But Dak Prescott, I would say, is a little bit better than Derek Carr with his down. You know, he's not scared to throw the ball. He uses his legs. But for me to go out and pick him up as a free agent, I don't think he'd improve Las Vegas that much. I just don't think he'd be a huge improvement.
I think maybe not. But what about like Indianapolis next year, right? Like I think that there could be a market for Dak if he left, and I think that's why he has the leverage. Like somebody is going to pay him, and so why take a discount for the Cowboys?
I think you take the discount because you're set up to succeed. I mean, there's not a better setting for him than to be successful in the Dallas Cowboys right now.
Renee, you take a discount, you take a pay cut because your job gives you a really good option to move up and do well. So you take a pay cut to stay there. Like
if we're talking millions, if
we're talking pay cut when they can go.
If you're talking millions, if we're talking millions. And what I don't. This is where I'm confused. Is we've heard zero talks as far as how much guaranteed money is given to Dak Prescott, and I think that's what's really flagging it. I think Dak's okay with $35 million. I just think they're lowballing him in the guaranteed money.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Because $35 million. I mean, $35 million. Russell Wilson he's the highest paid right now, correct?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
And he's sitting at $35 million. I mean, come on, man.
Right.
Okay, but
I'm not gonna put you ahead of Russell Wilson.
Yeah, we're talking millions, but so you're asking Dak to take a few $1 million left so his billionaire owner can keep it?
Well, what if it's an incentive type of deal? I think that's the way you have to go.
I think so too. I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. All I'm saying,
like I wouldn't mind paying out $40 million if $35 million is guaranteed and then 5 is incentives on whether or not you make the NFC Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's something Dak's gonna have to. He's gonna have to really think about betting on himself because I think that's the only way he's gonna get to 40.
Yeah.
He's capable. He's definitely capable. Dak he's a very capable quarterback, just like Derek Carr was back in 2016. I mean, it's just to getting that mojo back. I don't want to say he's not worth the $35 million, but he definitely has to prove himself. Definitely.
Awesome, guys. Hey, all right. Well, we got a fan question real quick, and then we'll end the show. Borba, I'll start with you. Let's just name your top 3 teams going into the start of the season.
Top 3. I think I'd have to go. Obviously, Super Bowl champs. Chiefs 1. I think I'd go Ravens number 2. Just because their offseason moves are still going to be a tough team. I think Lamar Jackson's still going to get better also. And then number 3, oh man, I guess maybe 49ers. Yeah, I'll just go 49ers. 3.
Earl?
I'm going Chiefs, Ravens, Saints. I like what the Saints did. I think that, it's a coin flip between the Saints and the Niners, and that could just come down to where the game is played. But I like what the Saints did.
And Antonio?
I'm gonna go Chiefs, Titans, and the Ravens.
Ooh.
Man, the Titans they were underdogs last year. They got a lot of players returning this year. I know the Ravens they're a hell of a football team, but that that Derrick Henry is going to continue to kill. If he continues
Do
to
you-
produce
do you-
the way he's produced, he's going to kill a lot of football teams. Like
Do you guys think he sits out,
who?
Henry? Because he's trying to get a contract extension.
No, I don't think he'll sit out. I don't think so. I mean,
I would.
You guys?
I think
I
they
would.
should pay him.
I don't know why you wouldn't. Look, it worked out for Zeke. Tennessee's nothing without Derrick Henry.
you're right. I agree with you 110%
Yeah.
on
I
that.
would,
I agree with
sit
you.
out. If Ryan Tannehill
I think-
can get paid
yeah.
$120 million, you can pay Derrick Henry.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't think
I'm gonna go.
I don't think Tennessee's
I'm gonna
going
go-
to give him that option. I think they'll pick him up before he even decides to sit out because they know that. They know he's their workhorse.
Yeah, they should. I mean, he earned it.
Yep.
He really did.
Yeah, 100%. They were only in that situation because of him.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs is the obvious. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna put San Francisco at my 3, and yeah, I think you got to put Baltimore at 2. I think those were 3 obvious picks. You guys want to give me a 4th one?
Well, my 3 include the Saints, so my 4 would be the Niners.
Niners, Borba.
Let's see.
Go ahead and put the Cowboys there. I know you want to.
The Dalton-led Cowboys.
No. Honestly, the 4th team, that's kind of hard. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just put the Vikings
I'm gonna
there.
put. Oh, that doesn't really. I'm gonna put Dallas. Realistically, I think we put Dallas in your top 5, but I'm gonna sit them in my top 4. Antonio, while we give Borba to think about a real team, let's go with you, real quick.
I'd go with New
You
Orleans.
just put the Cowboys in there. Who's going to have Andy
Just
Dalton
put
as
the
their
Cowboys
starter?
there. They didn't even make the playoffs.
God, dude.
Dalton is starter.
What kind of pick is that, dude?
All right, well, now we're
I'm
just
throwing them
guys.
in there because I can't.
All right, man. I appreciate y'all joining the show. If you're watching, guys, appreciate y'all watching. Hit us up subscribe on YouTube, like and share our page on Facebook. We appreciate the love, man. Y'all have a good one. Antonio, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you for
Earl,
having
appreciate
me.
you joining.
Raider
Thanks,
Nation.
Borba, take it easy. Take it easy, guys.